Two Navy airmen take flight before sunrise. Routine patrol, clear skies, nothing unusual. Hours later, the same blimp drifts back over San Francisco, silent, sagging, aimless. Its engines still turning, its radio untouched, its machine guns still mounted. But the cabin door hangs open like a jaw. And inside, not a single soul. No distress call, no splash reported, no sign of struggle. Just an empty gondola rocking gently over rooftops, like something returned from somewhere it shouldn't have gone. Imagine looking up and seeing a Navy aircraft above you, perfectly intact, with no one at the controls. People below stared, pointed, ran. Phones rang in police stations. Naval officers scrambled for answers. But in 1942, America was at war, and a blimp with its crew missing was more than eerie. It was dangerous. But what happened during those missing hours? August 16th, 1942. Treasure Island Naval Air Station, San Francisco Bay. Lieutenant Ernest DeWitt Cody. Ensign Charles Adams. Experience. Trusted. Familiar with Blimp L8's every switch and gauge. They boarded the craft just after dawn. Mission simple. A standard anti-submarine patrol along the Pacific coast. Reports of Japanese submarines had put California on alert. Every patrol mattered. Every sighting could change the course of war. Friends watched them lift off at 6:03 a.m. They waved, smiled. A clear day, no fog. The kind of morning where even the ocean felt calm. The blimp climbed steadily. Radio contact normal. Nothing alarming. Just two men doing their job, scanning the sea for periscopes or oil slicks, signs of an enemy lurking below. The world beneath them woke slowly to another wartime Sunday. No one expected history to unfold before noon. But something between sea and sky shifted in silence. At 7:38 a.m., they radioed command, investigating suspicious oil slick. Standard, professional, calm. Then, nothing. No further contact. Somewhere over the Pacific, the narrative split in two. The version we know, and the part lost in those missing minutes. Witnesses along the coast later claimed they saw the blimp flying low, erratic, dipping toward the waves, then rising again, as if fighting a command no human was giving. Beachgoers pointed. Fishermen stared from their decks. No distress flares, no emergency signal. Just a drifting shadow above the surf. Hours passed. At 11:15 a.m., L8 emerged from the ocean fog over Daly City. The cabin door unlatched, hanging loose, as if opened midair. The blimp scraped a hill, a car, then came to rest in the middle of a quiet street, deflated like a chest exhaling its final breath. Crowds rushed forward, expecting blood, bodies, evidence of a crash. But inside, two parachutes untouched, fire extinguisher unused, lifeboat sealed, radio fully functional, no crew, no clues. Just absence. How could two trained airmen vanish in an open sky? The Navy sealed off the crash site within minutes. Reporters pushed against barricades. Civilians whispered theories in doorways and kitchens. Inside the gondola, investigators found sandwiches and chocolate bars, untouched in their tins, as if Cody and Adams planned to return. Their jackets remained neatly folded, their sidearms still holstered. No sign of panic, no sign of struggle. Not even fingerprints out of place. Even stranger, one of the blimp's life rafts was still strapped down. If they'd abandoned ship, urgently or intentionally, they never took emergency gear with them. Experts inspected the engines. Both worked. Fuel remained. Nothing pointed toward mechanical failure. So why leave? Why step out into open air unless something or someone forced them? Or unless they never stepped out at all? Then investigators uncovered a detail that shifted the investigation sharply. The blimp's radio, their lifeline to command, had never been used after that first transmission. No calls for help, no warning, no chatter, just silence. Coast Guard boats had been patrolling the same waters that morning. None heard shouts. None saw debris. No military craft reported an explosion. If the men fell, there should have been bodies. If they were taken by a submarine or ship, someone would have noticed. Yet patrol logs show nothing unusual. Then came the strangest revelation. In wartime, the crew carried a .45 pistol, locked, loaded, never fired. Whatever happened, it happened without resistance. The cabin yielded no fingerprints beyond their own, no blood, no torn fabric, nothing to suggest violence. It was as if Cody and Adams simply evaporated. But the theories that followed only deepened the mystery. Some believed one man slipped overboard. The other tried to save him, and both fell. But wind patterns, altitude, equipment left behind, none fully aligned with that scenario. Others whispered darker possibilities. Were they captured by a Japanese submarine? No records or survivor testimony ever proved it. Military historians remain divided. No wreckage, no intercepted messages, no trace of a covert pickup. Mutiny? Suicide pact? Desperate desertion? Psych reports show no red flags, no distress, no sudden behavioral change. Then there are the more speculative theories. Hypoxia, sudden downdraft, an accident during low-altitude inspection. Plausible, but incomplete, because accidents leave evidence. This one left shadow. The deeper you go, the more the facts feel like fingertips, dusted clean. A patrol blimp returned home without its crew. Not broken, not destroyed, just empty. Which brings us to the part history never solved. The U.S. Navy continued to fly L-8 for years after the incident. Rechristened, reused, repainted as though nothing had happened. But everyone who knew its story remembered. Two families waited for answers that never came. The ocean never returned bodies. No confession surfaced. No evidence washed ashore. Just a patrol that began like any other, and ended as one of World War II's most unnerving aviation mysteries. Even now, decades later, historians, pilots, and cryptic-minded researchers dissect the case, frame by frame, minute by missing minute. A blimp doesn't fly itself. Someone was there, until suddenly they weren't. And behind that open cabin door, swinging in the wind, lies the question no one has ever answered. Where did Cody and Adams go between sea and sky? Some say the blimp came back, but the story never did. Sometimes the most terrifying disappearance is the one that leaves everything behind, except the people.